AwakenFreedomRadio.com. My name is Christie, and I am your host tonight. We are going to be speaking with Tobias Lars, author of Listening to the Sun and Awakening Souls. The website is courseofawakening.com or soulcounseling.com. As I said in the intro, we're going to say it. We're talking about sex tonight. Sex and love. What is it? And, wow, what a better person to talk about this topic with than, of course, Tobias Lars, personal awakening coach and soul counselor. How you doing tonight, Tobias?
I'm doing good. I just have a very short announcement. I've decided to become a monk, and I'm not sure I can talk about this topic tonight.
Okay. Well, how about this one? I love you. Are you going to run away like you did last week?
No, I like that. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at receiving love.
Oh, well, we're working on it. I mean, my goodness, that might be a good place to start. Why do you think we are so uncomfortable with people freely giving love?
Because love will melt everything. You know, it's like when you hear a baby cry on an airplane, it's so powerful. You can wear your $500 Bose fancy earphones, but you can still feel that baby crying 4 rows behind you. Or when you hear a cat in heat, you know that sound the cat makes when they're in heat? There's no way you're going to sleep if you're hearing that sound. There's something so primal about that, and those are examples of primal energies. Well, love is a primal energy like that too. And so when you actually give love to somebody, they have to either reject it, you know, like deflect it, like, you know, like with a shield, or turn away from it, or they have to openly receive it, and it starts melting everything. And so it is very undoing. It undoes us. She's come undone, you know, the song. And love undoes us. So we have to sort of say yes to, all right, I'm ready to open into this love. I remember a friend I used to work for a while when I was in, you know, I didn't want to be part of the world, and maybe a few people can relate to that. If you go through your awakening process, you may have a few times where you feel like chucking the whole thing in. Very normal, by the way, very normal. If you don't feel that and you've got that fake plastic smile plastered on yourself while you're at the country club, you're probably not in touch with what's really happening. So,
well, what is really happening when we try to pull away or push it away or?
Yeah, we're protecting ourselves. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I call it spiritual machoism, which happened recently. I mentioned on Leah's show, too, up in Sedona with James Ray. This is my opinion, of course. But oftentimes we get caught in trying to be tough or push through things, and that can get us in trouble. And these recent deaths at the Sweat Lodge up in Sedona, groupthink, you know, where we try to be tough, gets us in trouble. Now, you asked me something else. What did you ask me, Christie?
Well, originally, why are we so afraid of love? And then I guess I kind of interrupted when you were talking about how it's totally natural and normal to have doubts or want to pull away, and if we're not experiencing that. So I guess I just asked, why would we have those doubts?
Yeah, sometimes there is a progression, just like we grow up physically. You know, there's certain things when we're 1-year-old, 3-year-old, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, you know, that we're not quite ready for. So our spirits grow as well. You can liken it to a light bulb. If you've got a 50-watt light bulb, or any photographers out there know that if you happen to plug into the wall your battery-driven light bulbs, you're going to be spending $100 at the shop next week buying new light bulbs. If you get too much juice flowing through our Kundalini energy system, we can short circuit too. Yeah, humans can short circuit.
So there is such a thing as too much love?
Well, love never gives too much, true love. real love, like you imagine your concept of God now, whatever that is, large intelligence, God the Father, God the Mother, Source, whatever you call it, it will absolutely appropriately only give you the doses that are perfect for you. That's loving. It's likening, your electricity flowing on the poles outside your house, unless you're off the grid, which is pretty cool. But if it steps down that juice. It's 100,000 volts or something up there, or too much power in the amps. And so that has to be lowered down so it can come out the outlet and not, totally fry your house instantly. The same way with God's energy in us, or our own spirit energy, from certain places we need to only take our next dose, like those Russian nesting dolls, when you have 10 dolls, one doll within the other.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so when we're taking our next step, it's like we're becoming one layer bigger. Now these are approximations and symbology, and there are no rules, because love and you and your own spirit loves to break all the rules. So there are some kamikaze spirits out there, too, that go, I want to go from 0 to 100 instantly. And so that happens as well. But basically, your next step, love will perfectly help you. Now, that varies from each of us. Someone who's going through, what Jesus went through in the garden, or what, St. Francis went through, might be very big compared to where some of us are at. But our next step is always as significant as whatever soul's next step. A friend of mine always tells of one of his teachers who used to be able to levitate, and still does. Actually levitates. I know I'm pushing some boundaries here, but this is part of us opening up to realize there's a lot more to our electromagnetic frequency around us here, and that's what sex
absolutely.
Is and sex and love are the rocket fuel. You cannot resist them. You cannot resist love, in a sense. It is the soft avalanche, the soft touch, the powerful avalanche, the eruption of God, It is a love eruption. It is a giant awakener. But true love is very gentle about it, never pushes you past your boundaries. Just like there's physical rape, there can be spiritual rape. You can actually over-amp souls, and this is a very painful situation, and it does occur, and that can occur in what we call, dark rituals and stuff. So there is a step-by-step reawakening, like the Russian nesting dolls. What's certain sexuality for some souls, they might be totally comfortable, and they're just exploring, and you may look at that and go, holy cow, that's demonic, or that's evil, or that's just plain wrong. Doesn't mean it is. It just means it's different for different souls in different places in the space-time continuum of our universe. And it's the reason we resist is because sometimes we wisely know, I'm not ready for that. That's too much for my neurological system, Kundalini system. How, and you can think about it, there's some souls that got involved with certain sexual practices that probably weren't healthy for them right off the bat. In the big picture, it's all exploration, I understand. But jumping off a cliff, sometimes, you lost your body or you crashed your car, and you can say in the big picture, oh, it's all good. Yeah, it's maybe true, but you can also hurt yourself. So there is a beautiful adjustment, tuning what real love does. So real love will never push you past your boundaries, even though you may feel like it at times. God, why is this happening? I just can't deal with it. But then the other side that masquerades as love will actually push past your boundaries and doesn't care about you and will damage you. And this is part of us learning how to find our level, just like water finds its own level.
Okay. Well, Tobias, for purposes of the topic tonight, I guess we should define what love really is, what real love is, because there's, as the examples you mentioned, there's all sorts of ideas and beliefs in our little minds about what we think love is or isn't. So maybe we can kind of clarify what real love is.
Yeah, I have a little snippet, I think, in one of the chapters, a little verse called Pavlovian love. Pavlov was the famous Russian scientist who fed his dogs at 5 o'clock every day and rang a bell at the same time. And then at a certain point, all he would do is ring the bell, and the dogs didn't have to see the food, and they still salivated. In other words, they programmed the dogs to just respond with salivation, wanting food by hearing the bell. Well, so that's the Pavlovian programming. Most people know about that. I'm just clarifying a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But so there is such a thing as what I call it Pavlovian love. Through your life, you are dragged, programmed, feeling at most a Pavlovian love. Most of what passes for love, or what is called love, is a programmed love on this planet. Meaning, you're my husband or my girlfriend or my wife, and if you don't do what I want you to do inside my programmed little box, you don't get my love anymore.
Exactly. Or even worse, there's those, say, on the receiving end of this so-called love that borderlines or is abuse. For instance, the battered woman who thinks that her husband or whatever really does love her because, oh, look how jealous he is, and so I made him do this, and if he didn't love me, he wouldn't be so angry and beating me up, or the I love you so much I have to control everything about you. These feelings are obviously not love.
Right. That's where the love becomes mixed. It's like you mix beautiful chocolate with rocks or something and try to eat it. You know, and that is, most of us have some kind of mixture of that because we received it from our parents and down the chain and down the line, where no one has really known unconditional freedom love. Very few of us. And anyone that has come along and shared that, we've basically killed them, you know, as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And they've scared us. They've really scared us. You know, I mean, remember what we were doing in the 60s, you know, make love, not war. And it's such a simple concept, and it rings so true. What would you prefer, love making or shooting each other in the head? I mean, you know, hello, you know, obviously, but it's such a pure statement that our fear and rage just comes out and just wants to kill off, to quote the dirty hippies or something. That's our reaction. That's the pendulum swing, and you get, you know, let's face it. I love what. We can't do it on the air here because it's too much, but if you look up Bill Hicks and how he talks about, you know, Rush Limbaugh and the conservatives, and we're not taking sides here, you know, but the sexual repression will lead to some very, very, very strange stuff. And it turns into hatred. You know, if you can't have healthy sex, then you want to shoot things. You know, it's similar. Hello, it's very symbolic. Instead of shooting off your rocks, and I know we're speaking a little bit frankly, you want to go shoot guns and kill things and blow things up. Does anyone get this? It's as Freudian as possible. Hey, look, my nuclear rocket is bigger than yours, or my skyscraper is bigger than yours. And these are by men, and now we're telling some truth. These are often by men that have severe sexual dysfunction, that are obsessed with this stuff. If you study the psychiatric evaluation of Hitler during the Second World War, when we researched, they were trying to figure him out, you know, as part of winning and beating Germany. If you can get this book, The Occult Roots of Nazism, or there's a bunch of them out there. But Hitler actually had severe sexual dysfunction. He could not have normal sex with women. And he needed to be abused, debased, and it's pretty graphic what actually was his sexual impulse. And so this is very normal, this sexual dysfunction, suppression that turns into rage because it can't have healthy expression and then wants to go out and control or kill or hurt others.